Alright, everyone. Welcome back to our One Ring solo adventure with Varen, son of Halfgrim. Varen is on his way from Bree to, technically, the hills above Lake Evendim and Anuminas. But he had made it to Fornost last we left off, with two events along the way. A shortcut, which was a game trail, and I think that shortened our... Yeah, I feel like that shortened our trip by a day, which is tight. And then we had a terrible misfortune, which we did succeed on the event resolution, but our terrible misfortune was a rival predator. So we were able to shirk its advances and get away safely. We didn't encounter anything when we were in Fornost. We had, an uneasy time getting to sleep, but eventually we're able to get to sleep. Here I wrote down, I forgot, I have a little bonus on my next hunting roll for... What was that? It was a special success. That was... Where was that? Our table. Oh yeah, it was a special success. I built an advantage. So, we were able to acquire a bonus on that next hunting roll. So, with the dawn coming up over, the hills to the east, we are about ready to start our day. One thing I did realize that I had messed up last time, which we'll have to keep in mind. It won't really affect us, well, for the first 2 days, it'll affect us because it does look like the path continues. But if you're on a path for your event resolution, you do gain a die when you're tackling whatever the event is. And then in harsh terrain, you would actually lose a success die. So we didn't do that, but we'll remember that from now on. And that will be, if we get an event in the next 2 hexes, we will be good to go. So we need to... Sorry, it's been a second. I had a lot going on lately, and haven't had a chance to play because my office is so damn hot. But we should be good. We've got set a journey path, make marching rolls. Yeah, we make a travel roll. If the travel roll is a success, the event happens at a distance of 3 hexes, plus 1 for each success. So we got our character sheet over here, and I got this map. It's a little easier to see than the other one, and I got it filled out. So we are going to roll a travel, which gives us 2 success die because we have 2 skill points in it. It is not favored, which sucks. And we've got to beat a TN of... Oh, we got a Gandalf rune. Okay. So that is an automatic success. We did not get any bonus successes, which is fine. We passed it. So our event will happen 3 hexes away from us. So with dawn coming up over the hills, Varen makes his way to the west, following the road for 2... Wait, I should... no, we're good. We know it was a road. Maybe next time when I do a journey path, I'll make a note of it that it was a road. But we have 2 more, which it won't happen in these 2. But so Varen heads from here. There we go. Makes it to the first hex. Next hex. I'm gonna say he heads in this 3rd hex. Heads kind of towards the Brandywine. 1 second. It's going to drive me nuts. Kind of starts to arc south and hits the Brandywine, and he'll follow that into the territory, into Lake Evendim. Evendim? Whatever. Evendim. So that's going to drive me nuts. Is it Evendim? Someone correct me in the comments. But I'm going to say Evendim for now. And yeah, so he makes it. The event will happen in this third hex as we're drawing near the Brandywine. So let us see. What do we got here? Journey events table. Action resolution. Wait, this isn't what we wanted. We want the journey table. And now we roll a feat die, right? Yeah. Okay. Roll a feat die. Oh my god, it's a fucking hour. Oh, I have Sauron. Shit, should I spend a... I'm going to spend a fellowship point. Let's see, where are my fellowship points? So this is technically a 1 now. We cannot start this off with an Eye of Sauron. Okay. And we're going to re-roll this. So that was, you can spend a fellowship point to re-roll any one roll. And I just feel like that was, that wasn't going to end well. A 3. A 3 is ill choices. If the roll fails, gain 1 shadow point of dread. Ooh, okay. 2 fatigue points, pretty much guaranteed. So, ill choices. Let's see what we got here. Now we roll a success die. And we'll see what we got. Oh, a 6. Awareness to overcome darkness. Okay. So, haunting visions. How would this manifest? I would say, as he's nearing the Brandywine, he's following the course of the river and starting to see maybe like the ruins of Anuminas in the background, like ahead of him, I guess on the horizon ahead of him, just like the faint white stone. And we'll say that he has a waking, sort of a daydream maybe, while he's traveling, and he's seeing, just the violence that occurred there, and he knows that in this region there's been so much bloodshed, and for a moment he glances at the river, and for just a moment sees like the visage of a long dead soldier, one of the Dunedain, sort of like face up, floating in the river with just like arrows, just like pin cushioned into his chest. And it gives him quite the fright. He snaps out of it. And now we got to try to roll a... What do we got here? Roll awareness to overcome darkness. Okay, let's see. I don't want a shadow point. Awareness. Hey, it's favored, and we get 2. So, we'll roll 2 sets. We need to beat a 13 is our target number. Right. Wait, what lands are we in right now? Because I feel like this might not be going well for us. We're in Darklands at this point, so what does that tell us? The Darklands, is that ill-favored? I feel like that should be in our sheet here. Whew. Hold on, y'all. Move this up here for a second. Wildland. Okay. An ill-favored. So this is the... Oh, is that to determine the event? Oh. Okay, we should have made an ill-favored, which we will do next time. We'll have to remember that we make an ill-favored roll when it comes to determining what the event is. Okay. We'll remember that, I promise. So I'm going to set this here for now. And Varen needs a... What? Where's his fucking thing? Varen needs a 13 or above to pass this awareness check, but it's favored. So we get to roll it twice and take the better result. Which will not be this one. Okay. So that's a 5. That's a 7. Oh, God. Okay. Oh, no. That's an 11. Okay. Shit. So we definitely fail it. And we got to take a point of shadow. Okay. Where's our shadow at? Fury, injury. A shadow point. Okay. Wait, I should have used a point of hope to add dice to that. But I'm not going to do it because that would have gotten us 2 extra success die. But I didn't think of it, so we're going to suffer the consequences of that. This is what happens when you're getting used to a system. You miss some things. So we are going to take... Damn, so we got... Load. Our fatigue is 3 now because we're taking 2 fatigue points. And then we get a shadow. A point of shadow. So I gotta look up what shadow does. Let's see. Sorry, we're doing this in real time, y'all. Root cultures. Resting, miserable hope. Standards of living. Endurance and hope. Should be, I feel like, in this section, wouldn't it? Oh, wait, yeah. In the course of the game, player heroes face threats capable of shaking their determination and will to fight. As a consequence, they accumulate shadow points. Oh, heroes become miserable when their shadow score matches or overcomes their current hope. Okay. Alright, so we got a minute then. Recovering hope. 3 ways to recover. Spend fellowship. Take a break from adventuring. Resting. Wow, okay. So you gotta be down to 0 hope to actually start recovering it. Damn, alright. So right now, taking a shadow point doesn't necessarily do us super dirty. But I do want to make a little note of what happened here. Terrible. Gotta redo that. It's an exclamation point, brother. Come on. Okay, there's our 3rd event. A target doesn't make Doesn't matter. Ill choices. It was haunting. Vision. And it was a failure. Oh my god. Writing from this far away, from this far back, so you guys don't have to stare at the back of my head, is making this a little tricky. My depth perception's off. Okay, so that being said, where would we be here? It would be Fornost is in 1 hex. Actually, it looks like it's 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So we got to get to Anuminas. That doesn't make sense that this would be. So I mapped the rest of this out off of a lore master. I think it was a player map, actually. No, it was a lore master map. No, it was the player map with all the hexes on it while I was on my computer. And I think these are different because I've got more hexes here. So I just counted on here. We're going to disregard... We're going to disregard this for now because this isn't correct. I'm going to go with this map because we started it and it would be 12 days. So we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 was what we had left. Because we skipped a hex. Yeah, so that would put us at 11, which makes sense that we have 6 more hexes. So we're just going to have to keep a mental note of that, and I'll just stop marking these. But technically, we are at the Brandywine. So we're going to follow that, and I guess we'll follow it. I don't know if there's a bridge over it or like a ferry or something. I'm assuming it gets... I don't know. I don't know what the width of it is, but I'm assuming that would be a hard one to travel across. So maybe we'll get to Lake Evendim and then follow the coast down, like follow the beach essentially to Anuminas. And so that would be 6 away from where I counted. So yeah. So from now on, we're just marking the rest of these. We've got a travel roll coming up, which we don't do anything about. It's when you determine the event that it will be ill-favored. Okay. So travel roll for Varen. We've got a... Oh my god, another Eye of Sauron. But a success. I'm assuming that just cancels it out. That's an immediate failure. Am I going to spend another fellowship point on this? I also didn't raise my fatigue, I don't think. I don't think I did, right? Actually, yeah, I did. I did erase that because I had 1 fatigue. What would shortcut have been? Shortcut, and then it was game trail. We would have taken a point for that. Terrible misfortune would have been rival predator. Hunting to avoid. That would have been 3 points of fatigue there. We should have a lot more fatigue. Now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, we would have had... Terrible misfortune would have been 3. Ill choices would have been 2. Shortcut is 1. So that should be 4. Do you not get... Do you not get... Reduce the length of journey? No, I should have gotten one there. Ill choices. Yeah, so we should be at 5 fatigue right now. And I gotta use a fucking... Because we're going to be... What? Weary? Which is what we don't want, because these outlined numbers, the 1, 2, and 3, do not count. They count as 0 when you're weary. So we don't want that to happen, and that's when your load and fatigue equal your current endurance. So, yeah, I gotta use a fellowship point, unfortunately. Okay. So we have 0 left. No, what am I doing? Why am I not... Instead of doing that... God, I didn't use a fucking hope point again. Alright, I'm gonna do it. So I have 0 fellowship points left. I'm gonna re-roll this. I am gonna spend a point of hope. So we've got 11 left. We're inspired because we have the Strider feature. Which means I'm gonna double what my hope would typically do, because we're inspired. And I get 2 extra success die. Wait, no. Oh yeah, I re-rolled. Okay, so now I'm gonna do this. We gotta beat a fucking 13. We can do it. You piece of shit. We can't. A 2, that's 4, 7, 8. Okay. We didn't do it, which means the event is going to happen 2 hexes away. I was hoping we would do it because we have 6 hexes to go. And you don't incur an event when that roll makes you, when the travel roll or the marching test makes your journey complete when you arrive at the destination. So now we've got more chances for events. All right, we didn't pass that, so failed it. So now our feet die. How long have we traveled? I'm just gonna make little notes of this then. So we have 6 days left. So this is gonna happen at 2 days. And now it's ill-favored because we're in the Darklands. And it's going to happen 2 hexes away. So a 7. We're going to roll it twice. Take the worst one, which would be a 3. Is that ill choices again? It is. Okay. Ill choices again. Yay. What is our... Damn, we're at 19 out of 25 currently, which is not good. Okay. So what's our event going to be? Ill choices. We've got 5. Oh, we have to pass this or we get another shadow point. Right? Yes, okay. We're getting 2 no matter what. We got a 5. That is disorienting environs. So we're following the river, and as it kind of like, does the little like back and forth, like the switchback, we get like, maybe it's got little like tiny little tendrils that kind of go off of it. We follow one. We get kind of turned around from where it snakes back into the main river. And just because there's like the terrain is becoming hillier, we lose kind of sight of where it's going. Just enough for us to like have it really, really mess with us. But we do find our way back, hopefully. Explore. Okay, so our explore would be, and I'm sorry, you probably can't even see the tables. I'll move it up. Explore, we got to beat a 14, and we get 1 success dice. I will definitely be using a point of hope for that. So, We're going to use another point of hope. So we're at 10 now. All right. And we get 1 dice plus 2 because we're inspired. And we need to beat a 14. Come on, please, please, please. That's a Gandalf. Nice. No extra successes, but we do pass it. So, move this back over. It is a success. Unfortunately, we still get the two fatigue points. Disorienting environs. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, we still get the 2. So we're at 7. That's what, 21. Ooh. Damn, dude. I think it's when it is equal to is when you become weary. Like, you got to stay under it. So we're at 21 now. We've got 4 points of wiggle room. And we've got 4 days left to get there. We need a... Dude, we need a bonus. We need a success on this so bad, which I know how I'm going to get it. So for our next travel roll, I'm going to spend another point of hope. I understand I'm burning through these, but at the same time, doesn't matter. I need a bonus success. I got to get there quicker. So for travel roll, I would have 2. Okay. Come on. We got to beat a 13. I hope you can see this, because I haven't checked. What I need to do is, like, map out what is in view here. Like, I know everything below, like, here, I think, is not readable for y'all, which sucks, but that's the way she goes. All right, come on. Special success. Yes, we got one. Okay. So we got a 9. That is what, 2? That's an 11. All right, we beat it, and we got an extra. So it would be 4 days away? Wait. Oh, really? Okay, yeah. So we don't incur an event. I don't think when you get to your destination. That's what I read. I want to just read this real quick. Journeys. Okay. Here we go. It's the bat by tracing their journey. Okay, we set the journey path. Where is make marching tests? Once the event has been resolved, the guide must make a new marching test to see if another event happens further. Ending. A journey continues until the guide's marching test result matches or exceeds the number of hexes left between the company's current position and their point of arrival. When this happens, the company has reached its destination and the journey is over. Players take part in a new scene or when an unexpected occurrence engages the company in a different activity for a significant amount of time. In that case, the lore master adjudicates whether... Oh, okay, so we're there. Cool. Nice. So we've got to that point. It doesn't seem like there is an event once we get there. So we made it 4. We've arrived. And yeah, like I said, Theron travels the river, gets a little lost for a little bit of time, and then manages to find his way back, follows the Brandywine to the mouth, essentially, Lake Evendim, and is able to follow its shores, or like the shoreline, to Anuminas, where the half-sunken, sort of like buried in the inclines of sand, you can see what was the Kingdom of the North. This is, where the Dunedain were. Technically, I think, was this Arthedain when it all split up? But yeah, the buildings still have, in spots you can see where the white still just shines through or catches like, like a ray of sun at some point, and it is sort of like a blinding white, and it's pretty beautiful to behold. But he's able to sit and just fish off the shore of Lake Nenuiel, and is able to make camp for the night. I would imagine, being out on the road, pretty good fisherman. Maybe was able to forage some berries and fruit if they have it, like off of the local flora. And he's able to make camp and just rest after what ended up being kind of an arduous journey. Took a point of shadow there and used all of his fellowship points. Actually, I don't think he technically did, because I'm pretty sure between sessions, or did I say specifically that I wasn't going to recover my fellowship points? Because I think you can spend a hope to regain it. I don't know if it's a hope per, which I'll have to look up once this is done. But yeah, Varen's able to make camp along the shores in the shadows of these old, just grand structures of Anuminas, peeking from the climbing sand. And he's able to rest. And I don't know, maybe I want to figure something out. Hold on. I'm gonna roll something on the telling table real quick. I'm gonna get a little more info about where we are at and what's going on. The Lord table. So we'll use the telling table. We got a feat die. And I would say, does... I know that there's ruin pillagers and robbers and bandits in this area, just because I would imagine they've got most of the stuff pilfered, but the allure of these old structures is probably too much for some of these folk to withstand. So I bet they still get their fair share of pillagers. So I'll say it is likely. Yeah, likely. Is it likely that Varen is able to make his camp and sort of avoid wandering, suspicious, greedy eyes while doing so? So we need a 4 or greater. That's a 7. We get away with it. Yeah, so he's able to avoid that. Makes camp along the shore, maybe under the shadow of some big coniferous trees, and maybe a little, what do they call it, a copse. Able to make his camp in a space that's pretty inconspicuous. But I want to get the vibe of this area. Let's see. I want to do feat die. Let's see. I'm going to roll for the aspect and the focus. So I'm going to roll my feat die, which is a Gandalf rune. Okay. I'm assuming these are going to be relatively positive then. So aspect, a 2. Beautiful. Okay. And focus, a 1. Courage. Ooh, okay. So Varen is pretty inspired by, the natural beauty that he's in right now. The breeze coming off of the lake, of Lake Evendim, and just the beauty of the hills behind it and the white stone of Anuminas, and really just finally being able to rest and avoiding any sort of confrontation. This all is, it's very inspiring. It's very healing, rejuvenating, which allows him to gain the courage he needs when he gets to, I guess, technically the real destination, which is a village in the hills of Evendim, and needs to broker this deal for Círdan and Galdor to allow the trade of these great coniferous trees that kind of carpet the hills for Círdan to continue to make his ships. And he knows that these are sort of a solitary people and that it's not going to be easy. So he's able to rest, gain his courage and composure, and adequately think about what he needs for the next stage of this. So I think I'm going to call it here. And we will do the next leg up into the hills. And I don't know if I want to say it's like, make it like a decent little journey, like sort of on the northern rim of the hills, sort of before it flattens out and heads to Forico. But yeah, we might make it there, have it be another little journey. But yeah, we got the first half done, and he was able to make it to Anuminas. And I think, like Baron, we also need a break. So I'm going to get out of this hot office, but thank you for watching. I appreciate y'all, and I will see you next time.